Hello, hello! Guess who is finally filming a proper sit-down video? I know I should have done this probably months ago. It's been a long time coming. It's been 3 months since I've moved to Korea, a little over 3 months now, and better late than never. Today I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of teaching with EPIK and going through the EPIK program. So in case you guys don't know, which I assume most of you do since you're here watching this video, but in case you don't, EPIK is the English program in Korea. It is a government-run program in South Korea that connects English teachers from English-speaking countries such as Canada, United States, UK, Australia, with public schools in South Korea. Currently, I'm located in Chungju, which is a city in the Chungbuk province, which is the province just underneath Seoul. I'm going to be as concise as possible, because I have a tendency to ramble. And if you notice I'm looking here, it's because I have my notes on my laptop. Okay, I'm just gonna jump straight into it. So, pro number 1, EPIK is a very reputable program that I think is pretty much known worldwide. It is definitely one of the most reputable programs I found during my research prior to moving here. And I think it's really important to go through a program that is well known and has a strong reputation, just so you can kind of feel safe and confident, because moving to Korea is a really big deal, and the last thing you want is to be going through a sketchy company. Okay, pro number 2, the EPIK Orientation. So the orientation lasts 1 week. Mine was in Busan. It had about 400 people. There were 2 orientations going on at the same time. So one of them was in Busan, one of them was in Daejeon. It was kind of split up by where you're placed. And for me, the orientation was a very positive experience. I was able to meet so many new people and make so many new friends. And it was just nice to kind of have that almost community and support group upon arriving here in Korea, so that, you know, you don't feel so alone when you get here, because it is definitely a very overwhelming experience to be moving to a new country alone, to be moving abroad. For me, it was my first time, so having arrived here and being able to meet all these people that were in the same boat, going through the kind of same struggles, joys, and excitement as I was a huge pro. Being a part of EPIK is kind of like having an extra little family here in South Korea, where you can talk to other people, lean on other people, travel with other people, and to kind of have that bit of training for that 1 week prior to being shipped off into your little apartment alone. So if you guys want to know more about the EPIK Orientation, leave a comment below, and I can definitely work on a separate video talking just about the orientation and my experience with the orientation, what it was kind of like. But for now, I'm going to move on with pro number 3, which is a very good contract. You get a solid contract going through EPIK because you are being placed in a public school. And it is, like I said, EPIK is government run, so it's very reliable, and the contracts, you know, will be honored. And within the contract, you get really good benefits. I get 11 sick days, I believe, and 10 winter vacation days, and 8 summer vacation days, for a total of 18 vacation days. And that's business days only, so that's quite a bit of vacation time. Just as much or more as I was getting back in Toronto. And you get partial health insurance coverage. You get reliable hours compared to, say, working for a hagwon or / private school, where the hours can really vary, and a lot of times employers might not follow through on their contractual obligations. Going through EPIK, you know it's going to be trustworthy. My hours are 8:30 to 4:30 Monday through Fridays, and we are obligated to work up to 22 hours a week, which really just means 22 classes. and anything above that is considered overtime. Personally, I haven't had any overtime yet. In summary, the 3 major pros. Number 1, reputation. EPIK has a very good reputation, and it is for good reason. Number 2, the EPIK Orientation. Great way to make new friends, meet new people that are like-minded, going through the same experience as you, and that you can stay in touch with for the rest of the year and beyond. And number 3, a good, solid, trustworthy contract. I probably said trustworthy far too many times in this video, but it's a very important factor, especially when applying for a job abroad. It's hard enough applying for jobs back home and making sure you're not being scammed or gonna go through some kind of horrific experience. But moving abroad, it's very important to take these things very seriously and to do your research in advance and know what you're getting into. So with EPIK, I think that you can sleep at night and rest assured that you are in safe hands. If you guys want more information about EPIK, specifically the whole application process, I will be doing a separate video on applying to EPIK, specifically through a recruiter. Mine was Corvia Consulting, so keep an eye out for that video. Okay, moving on. As with anything in life, where there's pros, there's gotta be some cons. And to summarize the cons into one little nutshell, I would say the major con of EPIK, which I'm sure most people, if not everyone, can agree, is that it's all random and there's really not much you can do about it. So what I mean by that is primarily A, you don't know where you're going to be placed exactly, and you have no control over exactly where you're going to be placed. When you're applying to EPIK, on your application form you can state one preferred location, either a POE, a Provincial Office of Education, or an MOE, which is a Metropolitan Office of Education, and you get to select one as your top preferred location. For me, I personally put Daejeon, which is an MOE, and I ended up being placed in Chungbuk Province, which is a POE. I figured that out about 2 months prior to arriving in Korea. I knew that I was placed in Chungbuk, but that's the extent to which I knew where I was going in South Korea until literally after I had gotten here. So I didn't know exactly what city I was in or which schools I was teaching at until probably a day before I was going to that city and going to that school. That's definitely one of the major cons of EPIK. You have to come in here with an open mind and accepting the fact that you're not going to know a lot of important details until after you get here. And for a couple of months, you're going to have to tell your family and friends, I'm sorry, I don't know where I'm going to be placed. I don't know if I'm teaching elementary school. I don't know if I'm teaching 10-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 16-year-olds. Who knows? You'll find all these things out after arriving in Korea. It can definitely be a little nerve-wracking going into such a big move knowing so little of the very, very important details, but it's trade-offs. Some people do get lucky and were contacted by the EPIK teacher that they were replacing, so they were able to find out exactly what schools they'd be teaching at and which apartment they were going to live at, where their city was, but don't rely on that. That's not the norm. I didn't know anything until literally 2 days before I was arriving to my apartment. The second last day of the EPIK orientation is when you officially sign your contracts, and that's when I found out that I would be teaching middle school boys and that I would have 2 middle schools, and I had found out during orientation which city I was in. In summary, a lot of things with EPIK are going to be random. Where you're going to be placed, it's going to be random. If you're lucky, you're going to get the MOE or POE that you requested, but even then you don't know which city or neighborhood or school you're going to get. Pretty much with everything else, it's random too. You know, how the experience you're going to have in South Korea teaching in public schools is going to vary greatly from person to person. The experience I'm having now from my friends that are living in the same building as me are very different. We teach at different schools, we have different students, we have different co-teachers. each and every one of these aspects has a huge impact on your experience here in Korea, and it's going to vary greatly. So I can really, disclaimer, I can only speak on behalf of myself. This is the experience I'm currently going through, and personally I just feel very, very lucky that I've been placed in a city where I have friends that are in the same building, on the floor above me, on the floor below me, and there's tons of foreigners in my city, despite it being a small city in a more rural province, which, by the way, we get paid a little extra for working in a POE versus an MOE. Really, that's just all luck, in my opinion. You know, I know people that are in towns or cities where they are the only EPIK teacher or the only foreign person, period. To be honest, I'm not sure if I would be strong enough to make it through that kind of experience if I were in their shoes. But again, just come in here with an open mind, do your research, be prepared, and be ready for anything. Don't say we didn't warn you if you end up next to a paddy field and all your friends are hours and hours away. That's just the reality of it, unfortunately. Overall, I would definitely say that the pros of EPIK outweigh the cons, and I would highly recommend this program. The program. My kids would so make fun of me for that, the way I just said that. Again, it's very reliable, very reputable. The experience going through them was very, for the most part, easy and smooth sailing. They're very helpful. The cons that I mentioned are for sure things to take into consideration prior to applying to EPIK. And like I said, as long as you're aware and you're accepting and open of these facts, you can't go wrong going through EPIK, in my opinion. So yeah, those are my pros and cons of EPIK. I hope that you found it at least a little bit helpful. There are things that I just barely touched upon and barely scraped the surface of, so if you have any more questions, leave a comment below, personal message me if you would like, and I will reply to you as soon as possible. And also keep an eye out for my upcoming videos on 5 things I hate about Korea and 5 things I love about Korea, as well as my videos on the application process for EPIK going through Korea. We'll definitely be doing my updated room tour if you guys watch my vlogs. You could probably know that I rearranged my room a little bit. Of course, I will be still vlogging regularly as I possibly can. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe for more content coming soon. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.